I like Kansas City in the game. And look, I've done the explanation a million times this week. Man of science, man of faith. Ken is a man of science. He likes the Niners. Not enough to bet them, I don't think, right, for the game? I'll be a man of faith here, and I will sleep better on Sunday night. Whether I win or lose, knowing I have bet on the best football player on the planet in Patrick Mahomes. Give me Kansas City in the game, Kansas City money line, Kansas City +2, and I'll probably, just because it's the Super Bowl, like not a huge bet, but I'll put a couple bucks on over 47.5. I think that this will be a cagey game early, lower scoring game early, and then I think it'll get loose in the fourth quarter. Finna get loose. Over 47.5 for a couple bucks, Ken, for me on the total. So Chiefs and the over for me. Yep. Niners and the under for Ken.
Yeah, so make it fun to go against each other in a game where I think we're both like, look, if either team won, we wouldn't be surprised. To make the game more fun, well, look, I mean, like if you bet the Super Bowl MVP stuff, this game's going to be really fun almost no matter what because we're sweating some huge prices. If you did not bet any of those and you would like other bets to make on the game, strongest opinion for me would be the Mahomes two-way MVP market betting no, which is at a variety of prices. -150, I think, is the best I found over the course of the week. Might be 140s, otherwise it's higher than that. 175-ish is probably the stopping point, maybe a little more. Handicap's real straightforward. If I like non-Mahomes Chiefs, and then I get all of the outcomes of San Francisco winning combined with that, then it's like the same as the bets that we made a couple weeks ago, essentially. That's my favorite bet on the game by far.
Connor, who's going to win Super Bowl MVP and why?
Yeah, I like CMC. I think he's going to be the focal point of their offense. We're getting like +450 in this spot. Like, to me, it's just way too short. I think that his odds should be much closer to Brock Purdy because you think about how the Niners are going to win the game. I think it's going to be through running the ball a lot. I think this is going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game as well. So you're talking about a 24-21 win where CMC has 100 plus rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that he's very, very much live, if not the favorite at that point to win. And as I mentioned earlier, like, Brock Purdy is very susceptible to turnovers and throwing picks. If he throws a pick or something like that, and CMC has that kind of performance, I think that it's very easily CMC is the MVP there. So that's probably my favorite and the one that I put the most money on.
Connor, what about the Chiefs if they win? Obviously, like a lot of people are going to say, like it has to be Mahomes, and he has won twice. He is the best player of all time. I think that I bet a lot of players who are not Patrick Mahomes. It's okay to say like I'm wrong and I'm an idiot, and that Patrick Mahomes is just going to win, and if he plays well, it's his award.
So how about that comeback player of the year?
If the Chiefs do win, do you think it's Mahomes a lot of the time? And you could be honest, it's totally cool.
Yeah, so I honestly bet 2 players that were not Mahomes, and it was Isaiah Pacheco at 30-1. I think that the way that we see this Chiefs team win now is different than we always seen them win in the past. Again, I'm projecting a lower scoring game. In a game that's 2017, 21-17, where the Chiefs win, Isaiah Pacheco has 2 touchdowns and 100-something yards. I mean, I think that he's very clearly in the mix here at 30-1. Like, unless Patrick Mahomes has like a wild drive there, I think that he's in the mix. So I don't think that that's bad. And then also, I bet like an outrageous one. We talked last week here. If Mahomes, has struggled sometimes with interceptions against zone defense and 4 rushers, I bet Nick Bolton at 500-1. I mean, I know we're talking crazy talk here, but I bet him and Justin Reed, like a little bit of a sprinkle on both those guys. If they have like a pick 6 and it's like a super low scoring game, or like, a fumble 6, something like that. So again, lunch money, but crazier things have happened.
Maybe talk about Super Bowl MVP for a second, because if you tell me it's a 17-14 Chiefs win or a 20-17 Chiefs win, something along those lines, that feels like it brings into play some non-Mahomes winners because his stats can't be that good. The score is really low. Is it still Mahomes or is it somebody else?
I mean, it's 17-14. It's probably not Pacheco, right? I mean,
sure. Get 100 yards in the touchdown.
Chris Jones, maybe. I mean, okay. Karlaftis, someone on defense.
Oh, I like the Karlaftis call.
Sure. Someone on defense.
Fellow Greek. I dig that.
Yeah, there you go. Someone on defense. I mean, look, I guess you could maybe say, he doesn't force a bunch of turnovers. I mean, I probably those guys, I guess. Pacheco, Chris Jones, Karlaftis. I mean, this seems to be a quarterback award,
sure.
On the flip side, I think Debo's not a bad wager if you're looking for someone outside of McCaffrey and outside of Purdy. I think that Ayuk gets shut down because of the Chiefs' defense and what they do to number 1 wideouts, and then that brings up Debo Samuel, right? Sure. The Chiefs focus on shutting down Ayuk, focus on Christian McCaffrey. Well, Debo's left over, right? So is Kittle, and so Debo to me could be a play for MVP.
I'm going to fanboy a little bit because this is really awesome. The game against Algeria is like burned into both of our brains. Like we're both almost 40. We were like sort of like early 20s. I remember where I was.
Yep, me too.
I remember the call of the play. Yep. I said it word for word on the show the other day. Like it starts with Howard gratefully claims it.
Yep.
Distribution brilliant. Like that's what down.
Yeah.
When you threw that pass, so it sets up, obviously, for people don't know, the Landon Donovan goal that sends the U.S. to the knockout round. When you threw that pass, which starts the whole thing, none of that happens without that pass. When you threw that, were you like, oh my God, we might be onto something here?
Well, it's what top 3 greatest goals in U.S. soccer history, right? Like it's up there.
Top 3 moments for like people like us. I remember this forever.
It's number 1,
It's
right?
If it's not number 1, it's close.
And so I've never played in a game like that where it was a knockout. Both teams needed to win. There was no sense in a draw. A draw put us both out. Like it was a big problem. And it was just back and forth. The last 20, 30 minutes was like literally end to end. It was a tennis match. Nobody was defending. Everybody was attacking. It was crossing the box. And to be honest, that play probably happened 3 or 4 times previously because it was just that wide open. And then, I'm a smart guy. I get the ball to the best player, and then you just let him go. And then history's made, and Landon did that.
What do you think of the current state of United States men's soccer as we head towards the next World Cup?
Well, I'm excited for him. I'm excited because this is a team that has when Greg Berhalter took over, he stripped it all down and said, I'm going to build with these young guys, and I'm going to let them grow together, right? And so they're in that process. And I think they're starting to get near that halfway point of, and you guys know this about talking about sports, potential's awesome, right? Until you start to not reach your potential, and then it becomes a hindrance. And I think this young team is starting to mature to the point where they're not going to get the luxury or the rub of the green of saying, oh, they're just young, they have time to grow. They're going to have a coming of age moment. And that's going to be in the World Cup 2026. And can they really make a splash? Yes. But they're going to have to do it then because all eyes are going to be on them.
All right, in the YouTube chat, at Christian Tyhurst, Kyle Juszczyk, anytime touchdown at plus 900, and Nick Bosa, MVP at 100-1 beer and pizza money. Juszczyk scored in the last Super Bowl matchup. He gets looks in goal-to-go situations. If this is a defensive game, Bosa could make a huge play to turn the game.
Brandon Marshall yesterday, our BetQL Network teammate, Super Bowl winning linebacker with the Broncos. I asked him if Chase Young had that dog in him. And he said he wasn't sure. By the way, I think that was the funniest moment of the entire week. By the way, was how
you died inside with that. You was like, thought it was so funny.
I'm shocked that he didn't laugh.
I thought you were gonna get him with Mike Jones too, and then he was just like, oh, that's funny anyway.
No, but I thought when I said, and then the second time when Chris Jones he got that dog in him.
You got that dog in him?
And I am shocked that he didn't laugh.
He treated it like a serious question. He was trying to be a professional. You're like, you got that dog in him? You're like, yes, he does. Let me tell you why.
Look. I could have an overestimation of how funny things I say are, right? I legitimately thought if you
I always think I'm hilarious. I'm just gonna be honest.
But if you had given me set the market, will he laugh or not? If I say this, I would have said yes at a huge.
That would have shown up on this game. Real ones no. Somebody would have brought it up. Oh, give me that at a big price. Juszczyk anytime touchdown. I don't like bets where the rationale is in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. He scored.
I mean, he could happen.
I just need it's not that he won't score. I just need a little more. It's I'm going to make the bet. Because just why is that? Also, the Chiefs ran read option with Mahomes in that game. Okay. Also, the defensive coordinator for the Niners was different. Okay. Okay. I need a little more.
Yeah.
It's a big price. This is the rule of horse racing is you never talk someone out of a big long shot because then if it hits, you'll never hear the end of it. So I'm not going to talk people out of betting Juszczyk. Just I need more than that 3 years ago he scored a touchdown. Bosa MVP? Do you have a strong opinion?
I'd rather bet Chase Young at a much better, at a crazier price.
I just think the story of the Niners and their identity is still not this defense and not this pass rush. I think if it's a low-scoring game, then Purdy wins, and it'll be he makes a couple throws. They have a drive at the end of the game to win. Everybody will think a defensive player has a chance, and Purdy will just win anyway. That's kind of how I feel the game would play out in that way.
There you go.
We love winning. Money is awesome. This was particularly excellent. It's also really cool that a ton of people that listen to the show bet this stuff.
Good
and
call.
we get I got hundreds of messages, hundreds of tweets, screenshots, absurd quasi-sexual things in my DMs from people. Just I love you. No, I love you. And that's great. It's cool. A community experience where we all win together is obviously really fun. We had that with Michigan because it was one team the whole year. Everybody could get in. This was a little different, right? Twists and turns. Bet a ton of players for comeback player of the year. Didn't just bet Flacco. Like, would never say that. Bet a lot of players to win. So the win wasn't as big, but it was a win. And Stefanski was awesome too. Ton of people tailed. Great notes from people. Nice things. We both know friends like privately that won a lot of money on this stuff. Had a note from somebody several weeks ago who listens to the show who was in a predicament. Had bet Flacco to win what I would just describe as like insane, life-changing money and didn't know what to do and didn't know where he was at. Was like, do you think he can win? And I go, look, like he can, but it's tough. Like he's behind. There are votes we don't know, but he's behind. It's going to be tough. Just like I think about that person thought they were dead, thought they had no chance to win the award, and they get the notification or they're watching NFL Honors and like their life literally changed when that got in. Like think about that. A comeback player of the year, like someone's life changed. Like their life is on a different trajectory now. Like that's pretty crazy.
It is. It's absolutely awesome. And I will close by saying this. You out there listening, you won money on these NFL awards and you haven't like rated, reviewed, and subscribed to the show.
There you go.
You suck if that's the case. Rectify this grievous error immediately.